Hello guys, this is Rajendra. I'm going to talk about the Docker. Okay, what is Docker, why Docker, when it is used, how it is used, and all. Okay, so let's start. So if you see this diagram, it is talking about cloud, apps, and DevOps. Okay, so if you see, everybody is talking about the cloud. Okay, there are a lot of cloud providers like AWS is there, Google Cloud is there. Okay, so there are many more. Okay, so now everybody is talking to migrate their projects to the cloud. Okay, and now people are also talking about the migrating their application from monolithic to the microservices. Okay, and of course DevOps is required to help in this process, right, to migrate your applications or your projects, right? So now if you see, from last 5 to 6 years, almost 80% of the projects are moved from the your bare metal servers to the cloud. Okay, then uh, what is the requirement from the companies or the one who wants to deploy their application on the cloud is to have the portability across environment. Okay, and they also want to avoid the cloud vendor lock-in. Okay, so these are the some requirements from the companies who wants to migrate their workload from bare metal machines to the cloud. Okay, now here if you see, the applications, the way it is designed or the way it is deployed around 10 15 years back, right? So if you see, around 2000 we were having a very big servers. Okay, and then those big if you want to deploy the application on those big servers, it's very slow process, right? Because the time taken to migrate any application or any if you want to upgrade it, or if is there any failure is there to then identifying it and fixing it, it is taking too much time, right? And the applications were monolithic application, means all the modules of that applications are bunched together. Okay, and that is just one application, and if there is any problem there in that application, then the whole system going down, and then we need to fix that first, and then only your complete application will run. Okay, but then gradually the environment or the way applications were designed, that was getting changed. Okay, so if you see at the right hand side of this diagram, if you see the size of the servers getting very small, right? If you see, and then the applications were segregated, means the application segregated module wise, and then the application deployed as a microservices. So if there is any problem in any module, okay, so all these modules were deployed as a microservices. Okay, so if there is any problem in one of the module, then no need to fix don't no need to take down your whole project. Okay, so only that module we need to take down and fix it and then deploy it. Okay, so this is what changed from 10 years back to now. Okay, now if you see this diagram, left hand side diagram, so what it is saying, the way the applications were designed 10 years back, like if you see, this is your application code, and then inside that there are 4 different modules. Okay, but in the monolithic application designing way, all these are bunched together and then deployed as a whole. Okay, so if you need any minor changes, okay, then you need to recompile the whole application, and then only you can deploy that application. Okay, then your application becomes a single point of failure, because if anything fails, then you need to your whole application will go down. Okay, and then first you have to fix it, and then only you can start your application, right? Then if you want to scale your application, because sometimes what happens, let's say you have one of web application, and then if there's a going forward, if there is a requirement to scale that application, because nowadays you are getting too many requests for your application, right? So in that case, scaling that application was very difficult in this monolithic environment. Okay, but now if you see the microservices environment, so what we are doing is all the modules of that application we are separating out. Okay, and then those modules we are deploying as a microservices. Okay, now if there is any change, any particular module, so only that particular module we have to rebuild and then deploy it. Okay, if there is any problem in the your this whole application, then fixing that is will be easy, because we can easily understand which module is failed, and easily we can fix that microservice and restart it. Okay, now whatever we have talked is about the requirement for the container or the Docker, right? So now first let's see when Docker introduced, and okay, so if you see first in Solaris container was introduced in 2004. Okay, and then gradually in 2008 Linux containers introduced. And then again if you see the actual development of a Docker started in .cloud company in 2003, which is started by Solomon Hykes. Okay, then that Docker whatever the project that Solomon started in .cloud made open source in March 2013. Okay, and then in the February 2016, if you see the first version, the first enterprise edition of the Docker was released in 2016. Okay, now from 2016 till now, now it's a 2020. In just last 4 years, there's incredible adoption happened for Docker. Okay, so if you see some numbers, if you see around 14 million Docker hosts are deployed overall world, right? So Docker host is nothing but the machine on which Docker installed, and on top of that we can start our containers. Okay, then this Docker apps nothing but the application we are going to start on the Docker as a container. Okay, so 900,000 plus Docker apps deployed on the Docker till now. Okay, and then again 77,000% growth in the Docker job. So if you see, there is a huge demand for the Docker skill in the market. If you see the growth percentage, it's around more than 77,000%. Okay, so it's a huge, very huge demand in the market. Then the 12 billion images pulls over 390,000% growth. Okay, so what happens in the Docker, what we do is, if you have any application, we create a image of it and then we deploy image on repository. Okay, so this on this repository 12 billion plus images are available, and this pull push happened on that particular repository. Okay, and then again there are 3,300 project contributors. Okay, so why this Docker is also getting popularity? Because the community support it has. Okay, so there are more than 3,300 contributors are there. Okay, now if you see the tree of the Docker, okay, Docker family tree, so basically there are two edition of the Dockers are there. Okay, one is the enterprise edition and one is the community edition. Okay, so whichever you want you can use it, right? So because this enterprise edition is a paid, but this community edition is free, completely free. Okay, so you can choose as per your requirement. Now before going to the Docker, if you see how the applications were deployed on a machine, okay, any machine. Okay, now if you see what we are doing is there were one operating system. Okay, the server, on top of that we are installing the operating system, and then on top of that we were starting our application. But the problem here that we are facing is, okay, so the problem or the limitation of the deployment that we are facing is it's required means the deployment is very slow as compared to the Docker. Okay, so we'll talk more about the Docker later in the next slides. Okay, so if you see the deployment were slow. Okay, and then cost is huge, because to deploy just one single application we have to buy this hardware as well as the operating system. Okay, and then even though we are not utilizing all the resources of that particular physical server, still we have to buy that, because we don't want our applications to be failed due to resources, right? So we buy unnecessarily, we buy some extra resources, and that gets wasted. Okay, and then again, if going forward you want to scale your application, then again it is going to be very difficult in this type of environment, right? And then again, it's a vendor lock-in as well, because here if you buy any hardware from any vendor, then again if you want to scale out or scale out, then you need to buy that again the same hardware, right? So so due to that reason, then this hypervisor based virtualization came in picture. So to utilize resources better way, this technology came in. So what we are doing is, on the bare metal server we are installing the operating system, and on top of that operating system we start installing the hypervisor application. Now this hypervisor application is helping us. Okay, so if you want to name some, like Oracle VirtualBox is there. Okay, then VMware hypervisor is there. Okay, ESX is there. So all these hypervisor helping us to deploy multiple VMs on top of your this already available operating system. Now on this VM you can again start your deploy your application. Okay, now again we have some benefits from this, right? Because now your one physical machine is divided into multiple virtual machines. So in this case, if you have a very big physical server, then scaling can be easily possible. Okay, and then what you can do is you can easily scale, as well as you can utilize your hardware better way as compared to our previous approach. Okay, but now there are some limitations as well, right? Because here as well, on your host machine where you are starting the different VM on top of that. But again, for that VM as well, we need some CPU, we need some storage as well as RAM. Okay, so we are installing an entire operating system on that VM. Okay, so if you start more VMs on that host machine, then again you need more resources, right? Again, this guest OS we are installing, so again that means it's wasted resources. And then even application portability is also not guaranteed in this scenario. Okay, so now due to all this reason, this container came in. Okay, so now what is container? Okay, container is a standardized packaging for software and dependencies. Okay, and it is isolating your app from other apps, okay, that you are going to install that you are going to deploy on the same machine. Now if you see in the VM, we are having a different OS for each application, but in case of a container, we are going to share the same kernel, same operating system for all the application or all the containers. Okay, now these containers are available for Windows Server as well as Linux. Okay, now if you want to see the difference, okay, so if you see the right hand side first, okay, here in the right hand side we have a VM based infrastructure. So if you see, we have a infrastructure, and then on top of the infrastructure is nothing but a combination of hardware as well as operating system, base operating system. On top of that we are installing the hypervisor, and then with the help of this hypervisor we are starting the VMs. Okay, and inside that VM will have a guest operating system, then the required binaries for the application, and then your application. Okay, but if you see now container architecture, okay, so on your infrastructure will have a host OS. Okay, and on the host OS we are installing the Docker application. Okay, now this Docker application or the Docker process will help us to deploy the containers. Now if you see, now here we don't have any operating system as such to start the container. So with the help of Docker we are starting the container, so we'll have only that application and the required binaries for that. Okay, so this is utilizing your resources in a better way. Okay, now again inside VM as well we can start the containers. Okay, so for that what we have to do, again inside that VM install the Docker application, and this Docker application will help us to deploy the application and the required binaries. Okay, so this is utilizing the resources of the VM as well in a better way. Now what are the key benefits of the Docker containers? Okay, so if you see, if you have an operating system, then it takes some time to boot up, right? But here we don't have the operating system in case of a container. It's just a small piece of a application we can say. So it will start in a few seconds. Okay, in a seconds it will start. Now the portability of your application with the container is very easy. Okay, so what here we do is we create an image, and on with the help of that image we start the containers. Okay, so now from starting that container on one host or a different host, okay, it's very easy, we don't need to do any change. So here portability is very good. Okay, because we have a very less dependency on our infrastructure or any other component. Okay, now here there is a very less overhead on your operating system, that's why it gives a very high efficiency. Okay, now if we talk more about the Docker, okay, so we are so if you see the basic components of the Docker, we need an image. Okay, so what is this image? We are going to talk it more in a deep in next slides. Okay, then container is nothing but the packaging unit for your application. Okay, then what is this engine? Engine is nothing but your Docker engine, which will help us to deploy our, it will help us to start the container. Okay, start the container means nothing but your running application, we call it as a container. Okay, and then registry. What is this registry? Registry is nothing but the location where you store your images. Okay, so what we do, we create image and we store that image on the registry. So if you want to start the application now, we just pull that image from that registry and then we start the application. Okay, now what is control plane? Control plane is to if we have multiple containers and if you want to manage all this through this control plane, we can do this. Okay, now nowadays everybody is talking about the DevOps. Okay, so now to make that process faster, okay, development as well as the operation. Okay, so what we do is we create our application. Okay, developer will create the application, will test it, because nowadays it's a microservices based, so development is easy. And now if we develop any part of the code or any module of the code, we can create a microservice, we can create image, and that image we can deploy on the registry. Now to test it easily, testing team or the operations team, they can easily pull that image. Okay, and then they can easily test whether it's properly working or not. Okay, so this supply chain works faster with the help of this Docker. Okay, now we'll talk more about on this in the next video. Okay, till then bye bye. Okay, thanks.